Morning, this is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. We've got, let's see if I can get this there. We've got 49 degrees inside and 1 degree outside. The humidity went up. Wow, 65% humidity. The fire went out last night. I had it cranked up a little too high and it burned up too fast, and I had to rebuild the fire this morning. That was my bad. But this is way better than the RV would have been at 1 degree outdoors. It was actually 0 and 46 a few minutes ago, but first thing I did is started the fire. So 0 degrees outside and 46 degrees inside when I first grabbed the camera in my hand. This is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Sort of out of breath. I was out cutting some more firewood. I've got it stacked up here. Now, today is Thursday, and if you can see down here, you can see the two different colors. Actually, you can see the round wood and the split logs. The split logs is the last of the wood from Saturday. So I went through Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 6 days on that one tree. And it'll get me through the rest of today, obviously. And then I cut another small tree that was down, and fortunately it was dead and down, but supported by a big rock that it was leaning on. So I chopped up that, and the part that was on the snow I left, because that would obviously be waterlogged. And I brought that up to the house. That's why I started out a little out of breath. I'm putting wood ash on the walkways. It's not pretty, but it is safer for walking in this snowy, icy slop. It is brutally cold, and my legs feel like ice cubes. No joke. Anybody who says that it's not cold is really doesn't know what they're talking about. We have minus 20 degree wind chills right now, 30 mile an hour, 20 mile an hour winds. And it's brutal out there. I was up at the house getting water. I went into the house this time, not to the creek because it's too cold. I went into the house to get some warmth after my quarter mile one-way walk. And each day I'm walking a mile carrying gallon jugs of water. It's a quarter mile one way, and I'm going through 4 jugs of water. Since the rainwater collection has froze up solid, I'm steaming up the door as I talk. By the way, I wish I had grabbed the camera, but the battery was frozen and dead. The battery last night was absolutely full, and this morning was dead and started blinking when I was showing the power and the temperature in the tiny house. There was ice on the inside of the door of the tiny house this morning. Again, sorry I couldn't show you that. The camera had to thaw out before I could use it. So it's been cold. Anyway, not complaining, just reporting how it is out here. Anybody wants to start a life off the grid up north, they're going to deal with these conditions. And I want you to know what you're getting into. Well, I'm going to have a cup of tea and warm up. You can only work for 30 minutes to an hour at a time. And then you got to get inside and warm up a bit. So, not getting a lot done in the last few days, really. And I got to get the truck brakes fixed so I can get that big forklift battery over here. Because the truck is how I'm going to move it. So, I'm trying to find somebody to take me into town so I can get some materials to fix those brakes. Hopefully I'll get that done. The charge controller is in equalize mode again. I'm not going to argue with it. Last night they were down to this morning they were down to 12.2, 12.3 with no load on them. So they definitely can use some more desulfating. So I'll let it do its job. Of course, it kicks out of equalize mode as soon as I grab the camera. It stopped blinking and flipped into MPPT. It's 115 watts. I don't know why it flips on and off into equalize and out. But the voltage is 15.5 volts. So it's definitely mixing up the acid in those batteries, and that's definitely going to be a good thing for them. still on the old forklift batteries because as I said before, I'm not going to repeat myself, but I got to get the new ones over here yet. That's going to be a job. So, and I want to play with these another day or so yet. They'll be my backup battery bank. The old forklift batteries will be a backup battery bank. So anyway, right now that's what I've got there. Now it's back in the equalize. It flips on and off for some reason. I guess it knows what it's doing. Look at that, my girls are pulling through for me. Although I'm eating about 2 eggs a day, I'm getting more eggs than I'm eating. This is really good. It's a lot of work caring for the chickens out here in the cold. I have to water them 2-3 times a day and make sure that the water keeps freezing, so I have to knock out the ice. I've got a big flat pan, and what I do is I dump about 1 gallon of water in it and let them drink it. And I'm giving them water from inside so it's warmer, and then I let them drink that, and then a while later I gotta feed them and water them again. And by the time I go out, that water's frozen solid. Whatever they don't drink up right away, it freezes. So I go out there about 2 to 3 times a day, I should say, giving them fresh water. And you can tell if they're thirsty, and if they're not eating their food, then you know they're thirsty. I know this from experience because I've had them for years. But anyway, that's one signal to watch for. But you can also tell if they're thirsty if there's ice in their dish. So anyway, it's a constant battle. I've been hauling water back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. 2 trips a day, 4 gallons a day I've been hauling water. So I'm hiking 1 mile a day carrying water jugs. But that is just because it's so cold. My rainwater's froze up. And I never realized how much water I was really using out here until now that the rainwater's froze up, and I have to hand cart it in from either the creek or the house up a 1/4 mile away. Well, I'm down to 12.4 volts, but the computer is on and the inverter is running my modem, and I'm only pulling in 8 watts. The day is pretty much done. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's it for solar, and the batteries will drop back down to 12.2 after the sun goes down. These are the old forklift batteries now. They are going to require a lot of work, so I am not upset, I am not disturbed. I know this is how it's going to be, and I expect it to be so. But they are better than those golf cart batteries that I was struggling with, the ones that I gotten from the store as replacements for my bad ones. So I probably will take them in eventually and let them know that they were not working from the day I got them. I'm sure they'll run the test on them, and who knows how that'll turn out. But anyway, the new forklift batteries are here, and I will be moving them probably tomorrow, and I'll come over to the window and tell you why. Forgive me for doing all of my videos from the door or inside of the tiny house because it is so cold out that my camera can't handle it, and the camera battery dies out. So sorry, not a lot of work videos going on right now. I am just doing a lot of work outside and then come in and tell you about it as I'm warming myself up, which I'm doing right now. My hands are still a bit tingly because I was working on the truck. A friend of mine went out and got something called, hold on a minute, let me pause. I got this stuff called Quick Steel. It comes in a tube in a plastic container, and it's an epoxy and some kind of other substance. It is supposed to be really good, and it looks like a putty type clay like material, and you knead it between your fingers. I used the rubber gloves I just got recently for protection, and knead it between your fingers until it gets all nice and gooey and even consistency, and you start to feel it warm up in your hands so you know it's working. And I went in there and I applied it to the leak on the truck's brakes. And now again, this is a disclaimer. Do not do this at home. Do not do this yourself. This is not standard what I'm doing. There is a pinhole in one of my lines that I am patching temporarily. And because I can't move the truck right now at all anyway, with that fluid coming out. So that'll get me so that I can get replacement parts later. But anyway, I've put this quick steel on the pinhole and wrapped it up thoroughly and heavily, and I had the engine running to help warm up the engine compartment and hopefully help assist in carrying the quick steel putty material. So that's going to sit overnight. The engine compartment is still warm. I'm hoping that'll help cure that stuff. This stuff, the JB Weld turned to liquid goo and dripped off overnight, which was quite shocking and not at all expected. Instead of hardening and curing, the JB Weld liquefied. I don't know if it's because of the cold or what, but it didn't work for me. So this quick steel creates its own heat, which is a nice thing as it's curing. And again, I had the heat from the engine compartment. So tomorrow I'm going to try to jack up the new forklift battery, and I'm going to crank that up in the air. I'm going to turn the truck around, and I'm going to slide the truck right underneath that battery. I'm going to slide that right into the bed of the truck. Then I'm going to drive the truck right over here up behind the tiny house on wheels, and I'm going to do my best to get that thing on the ground as close to the pallet as I can, and then try to use the engine hoist to try to get it up in the air and see if I can swing it. I might need help getting it on there. Let's see how it goes, but I'm going to try my hardest to make that work. The chickens are doing all right. They made it through the worst night I have seen to this date. And they are, by the way, I keep forgetting to tell you, the chickens are now using all 3 chicken coops. And the hens are laying eggs. The bantams have taken over where's my finger? Bantams have taken over this chicken coop over here. The white hens and one of the red roosters has taken over this chicken coop over here. And the silkies and the rest of the birds are in the original chicken tractor. So they have finally spread themselves out, and they are using and sleeping in the various chicken coops. So that's good. Now I just got to clean 3 chicken coops instead of just 1. So it means more work, but it also means more eggs because the chickens aren't stressed and they're distributed. There's my birds. I just watered them. There's a big flat pan. What annoys me is they stand in it and poop in it. It's really stupid. You wouldn't think they would want to stand in the water. It's cold out there. They just stand right in the water. But there's a big flat pan. I keep giving them water in that, and then I have to beat out the ice and the chicken poop and re-water them 3 times a day. But water and food equals eggs. Easy way to go. Now, the wind turbine. I have everything I need to put it up. I now have batteries. Now I need help. But the problem is right now we have this -20 wind chill outside, and we have death warnings. Okay, it's doom and gloom on the news. It makes you want to go run and buy provisions. I saw people talking about that in the comments, but there's death warnings on the news. Go outside and you will die. It's cold. All joking aside, yes, within 5 minutes, if I'm not wearing gloves, my fingers go numb. No joke. It is blasting through my hat. But I can work about 30 minutes to an hour if I'm doing heavy exercise. So as soon as we get a little bit warmer day, which it's looking like in about 2 days or so here, I'm going to haul out Chris from the house if he'll help me. And I hope to get that wind turbine tower up. And then I will have wind power. I will be harnessing this free energy from the air. So then I will have solar and wind. And another project, again, when it's not as miserably cold and I can work out there a few minutes more at a time, I'm going to put a porch over the house entrance here with solar panels as a roof, because the late afternoon sun is not hitting those solar panels out in the meadow. In the morning, the sun is over here pointing directly at the RV in winter. In winter, the sun is all over the meadow. In the morning, it's facing the RV. In midday, well, early afternoon, late morning it's coming from this direction sort of and hitting the solar panels. And then later in the afternoon, around after 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 4:30, the solar is hitting up here in the meadow, up by the house. And the solar panels are not in the sun then. So I'm going to get some more solar panels up here by the house and get them connected for afternoon sunlight. But I'm going to have to knock down these 2 trees here and a couple over here in order to allow that, because see all the tree branches? That will block the sun from hitting the solar panels properly. And there's no point then in having that. Well, I've got a little Harbor Freight generator running and the little battery charger. So I've got a green light. I'm running the laptop and the internet and my LED lights in here. I will have, hopefully I'll have the forklift battery over here and try to get it hooked up tomorrow. With, as long as my new brake fix holds on that truck, I'll be able to maneuver that battery around and try to get it over up against the house. And that'll be nice. I'm looking at 13.6 volts right now on the battery bank, on the forklift battery bank. So they're at least a buffer for me so I can run some power into the house and do some work in the evenings for now. And again, it's only temporary. Those forklift batteries are on their way over to the house. As long as the brake's holding the truck, I'm moving that battery bank tomorrow.